Hey everyone! So, what you're about to watch is the announcement of a dream project that I have been working on for over a year to get to this point, and is one that I am so freaking excited to finally share with all of you. It's something that is going to be going into production sometime in the next few months, and as you'll see, is incredibly personal to me, not just because of the story it's telling, which I think is really cool in and of itself, but the people that I get to work with to make it, and who I'm hoping to draw greater attention to by doing this thing. But even more so, I am so excited to announce that I'm working on this project with Nebula to make this thing happen. I'll speak more about that in just a moment, but without further ado, I'm super pumped to introduce you to my upcoming short film, IDENTITEAZE.
Our two protagonists awaken in a strange, empty, perfectly square, pristine white room with no memory of how they arrived there. Slowly, they discover they are new employees stuck inside the mysterious corporation Advent's virtual metaverse about to go through worker orientation. To leave the room, they must choose which of their unique corporate-approved AI-generated avatars they're going to use to enter the online workforce, a male or a female version. Yet something is wrong. Who are they really? Every time they try to learn more, the digital reality around them glitches. As they go deeper, they find maybe the choice of who they are isn't as binary as Advent makes it seem.
Hi, my name is Jessie Earl, and many of you may know me as Jessie Gender from the fabled land of YouTube, where I work as a video essayist talking about things like LGBTQ issues as well as pop culture because I'm a huge dork. You want a rant about Star Trek? I'll give you a rant about Star Trek. But I also work as a journalist, LGBTQ advocate, video producer, and most pertinently to what we're talking about right now, a filmmaker. And I've created films and series and content for everyone from Microsoft to GameSpot. IDENTITEAZE is a short film that I am incredibly passionate about making, and it's one that's been stuck in my brain for a really long time. One of the first versions of IDENTITEAZE began as a deeply personal story that I wrote shortly after I came out as transgender. And back then, it was a sci-fi story about my fears as I started my transition. It was about a meeting between who I was supposed to be, the boy, the man I was supposed to become, and the girl that I never thought I would actually get to be. My coming to terms with my fear that I would never actually be either. But as I wrote it, the conversation between these two avatars made me realize that neither of them would ever be me, but I could be someone who was created between the conversation with these two avatars, but someone who was greater than both of them. It was someone I never thought I could be until a story let me imagine that it was possible. What's most amazing is that since I wrote that story, I've become that person I never imagined I could be. I became a reality. I created my identity within a system and a world that told me to never even think that it was possible. And in its initial form, the story of IDENTITEAZE was the birth of that possibility because it let me envision a world beyond the bounds of the algorithm that I've been told to execute. My body became the glitch, and my story was the start of that system's corruption. And even more, I realized that that story, my story, was not a unique one.
Customers first. It's customers first.
We're honored you picked Advent as your new corporate home. And like our customers, we know that the identities of our employees help us stay unique and fresh. Male and female, young and old, people come in all kinds. And we want to see you like we do our customers, as people. That's what sets us apart from the rest of the Big Four. So before we begin official orientation and you meet your fellow Adventees, it's time for you to pick your identities. See, we like to express ourselves here.
As a nerd and someone who wants to be a storyteller, I like to think about the worlds we might live in and the worlds that we might create. For the past couple decades, our digital identities have become a greater and greater part of how we express who we are. And right now, we live at the precipice of a new reality. As things like the metaverse and virtual realities become more realistic, our digital identities may soon become our primary identities. Yet, like in our real world, these new digital universes that we will find ourselves in will be coded and created by those who do not see the totality of human possibility. CEOs, corporations, and those who only see humans as tools to be used for our functions are the ones that get to decide which realities and metaverses and virtual worlds that we get to exist in. They only see us as cogs in a machine, not full people, and they will code a reality for themselves and force us to exist within their programming. How do we express who we are in a world that was never meant to allow us to do so? If we all live in a metaverse where the code says you can only be a man or a woman, how can you be non-binary? How can you be disabled if there's only an able-bodied avatar that you can purchase? Or will your actual skin tone be found in the 5 palette swaps some CEO decides that you can use within their corporate environment? How do we define ourselves in someone else's digitally created reality? Those are the questions that I hope Identities, this short film, will confront. In a digital world created by those empowered who do not see the totality of human possibility, how do we define ourselves? Who are we forced to be, and who do we wish to be? And can we fight to make something greater than either of those things? Can we break their programming? Identities is not a short film about me, but is about how all of us can break the limitations of someone else's imagination. And what excites me most about this project, beyond getting to tell the story, is that I have partnered with the best person in this reality and any other in order to help me make this possible. My producer, Dr. Aaron McDonald.
Hi, my name is Erin McDonald, and I'm so thrilled that Jessie asked me to come on and be a part of Identities as the lead producer. Now, some of you might know me. I am the science advisor for the entire Star Trek franchise since 2019, which of course is how I met Jessie.
Have you ever considered becoming a xenobiologist?
Xenobiologist? What's that?
It's the study of new life forms.
I have a background in astrophysics, general relativity, and gravitational waves. I've worked as a researcher, I've worked as an educator, public communicator, and as an engineer, as a modeling and simulation engineer, and as a project manager. And when I started working in the entertainment industry, I realized I enjoyed doing that project management stuff, and that translated really well to film production. So last year I started my company called Space-Time Productions, little nod to my background, and we made our first short film called Every Morning, which is a queer sci-fi love time loop story. We were able to get it done within 10 months of coming up with the idea to delivering the film, which I was super excited about. But one of the things that was really important to me was providing representation. Not just telling a story like that, but also providing opportunities to people behind the screens. We were super proud that our crew was made up of 60% women and 10% gender nonconforming folks. We had wonderful representation across the LGBTQ spectrum, and it was really just a beautiful experience to be able to tell this kind of story through that lens. So I hope to continue to do that, and Identities was a perfect next story for Space-Time Productions to tell. Now, one of the things that's the most important to me is being able to pay everyone fairly and to pay everyone union rates for working in this creative space. Jessie and I are not planning on taking any money for this ourselves, unless of course we take care of everything else. So, we're here to support it, to get this film made, to do it to a high production value, and show Hollywood that these films can be made with creators that we don't normally get to see behind or in front of the camera. So we're asking for your support. I want to thank you again for taking the time to watch this, and to Jessie for giving me this opportunity to help get her wonderful, beautiful story told.
Identities is not just my story, but our story. And more importantly, it's a story that Aaron and I can only tell because of all of you. You all helped create this fantastic community on YouTube that let me believe my dreams like this one were possible. And I want to not only give back to all of you, but pay that forward and give to others, which is why, as this project's director, it's really important to me and why I'm working with Aaron to bring together a cast and crew from all walks of life who don't get the chance to work on projects like this normally, and tell a story about those of us who don't get to typically be the leads of stories, and do it while making sure everyone is paid fairly. And this brings me to the next exciting part about this announcement, because I am pumped to announce that Nebula, the award-winning streaming service made by myself and other fantastic creators, is funding the making of IDENTITEAZE. Initially, Aaron and I actually planned on kickstarting this project. Like, quite literally, we were days away from announcing a Kickstarter campaign. But when I mentioned to Nebula what Aaron and I were hoping to do with IDENTITEAZE, they instantly wanted to support it. I am legitimately honored and kind of freaked out that they want my project to be alongside works like my fellow YouTube creator Abigail Thorne's The Prince, which is her multiversal Shakespeare film that is only available on Nebula that features numerous diverse people behind and in front of the camera. To me, seeing projects like this and seeing what Nebula wants to do by giving creators, especially creators who don't often get a chance to be seen in places like Hollywood, is incredibly exciting. Nebula allows creators the chance to show that not only can we do quality projects like this, we actually do it better than anyone else when we do it on our own terms, not theirs. And that's directly because of the support you give us. So that being said, over the next few months, as IDENTITEAZE gears up, I will still be making YouTube videos that will only be getting bigger in production as well. You can even see one of them that I've currently been filming right there. But because of all of that, that will mean that there will probably be longer between videos as I work on making them and IDENTITEAZE and ensuring that my videos continue to be up to the par of where I'm at as a creator. So while IDENTITEAZE is funded, I personally am not getting paid at all for doing it. So with that in mind, Nebula is offering an exclusive deal to help us get IDENTITEAZE done as a Nebula original, helps Nebula to continue to support this project and other projects going forward, also helps support me paying my bills, and even cooler for all of you, gets you all access to cool stuff in the meantime. So, if you sign up for Nebula at the link below, you'll be directly helping fund me and my ability to pay my bills between video releases, as well as supporting IDENTITEAZE as we go into production. But more importantly, you'll all get access to Nebula and all it offers, including The Prince and other Nebula originals like Maggie Mae Fish's amazing unrated series, as well as some of my own Nebula-only content, all while supporting Nebula's vision of a creator-first platform. This is the reason that working with Nebula on this was so appealing over Kickstarter, because it means you get access to all of that while still supporting this project, me, and other Nebula creators as well. And there's a little trick here. If you sign up for the annual plan, you'll get access to IDENTITEAZE as well, as we're aiming to be finished with it by the end of this year and have it on Nebula soon thereafter. And we're also planning on releasing updates and behind-the-scenes content for IDENTITEAZE on Nebula as well, so you can follow along with the project as we make it. So, to wrap out, I want to end on the most earnest note and just say thank you to all of you for getting me this far. This is what I talk about when I say community matters. You all have allowed me to dream big and work with people like Aaron and organizations like Nebula. That's all directly because of you. Like, I can draw a direct line from you to me being able to do this stuff, and it means so much. And I hope I give back by doing hopeful projects like this, because I think we all need that right now, and I want to give chances to others who have even more amazing stuff that they want to make. That better future where we break beyond the limits of someone else's imagination, that starts today with all of us. And I'm so excited to do it with you.